Welcome back. You're watching Nation Tonight. Wearing military jackets, positioned in a dimly lit room with a sealed window at one end, these men from India are seeking the Indian government's help to get them out of Russia. They made this video saying that they're stuck on the Russia-Ukraine border. All in their 20s claim that they arrived in Russia on tourist visas on the 27th of December to celebrate the New Year. But they were forced eventually to fight in the Russia-Ukraine war. Listen in to what they said.
नमस्कार, हम सब साथी रशिया घूमने के लिए आए थे नवे साल पर और हमें यहाँ पर एक एजेंट मिला। उसने हमें यहाँ पर घुमाया फिराया रशिया में और वो बाद में हमें बोला कि मैं आप सबको बेलारूस के लिए ले चलता हूँ, वहाँ पर आप सबको घुमा फिरा के लाता हूँ। और वो हमें बेलारूस लेकर चला गया। हमें इस बात का नहीं पता था वहाँ पर वीज़ा की ज़रूरत होती है। वो हमें ऐसे ही लेके चला गया और वहाँ जाकर हमसे वो पैसे मांगने लगा। मतलब जो उसने पहले पैसे मांगे थे हमने वो दे दिए, उसके बाद और पैसे मांगने लगा। हमारे पास और पैसे नहीं थे। उसने हमको ना वहीं पर बेलारूस हाईवे पर छोड़ दिया और वहाँ फिर हमको पुलिस ने पकड़ लिया। पुलिस ने पकड़कर रशिया आर्मी को दे दिया हमें। रशिया आर्मी ने हमें पता नहीं कहाँ पर रखा, 3 से 4 दिन रखा और हमारे आगे एक हमारी भाषा वाला बंदा आया, मतलब उससे फ़ोन पर बात करवाई और हमारे आगे शर्त रखी या तो आप सबको 10 साल की जेल होगी या फिर हमारे साथ एक कॉन्ट्रैक्ट साइन कर लो जिसमें आपको कुछ नहीं करना है। आपको मतलब हेल्पर की जॉब मिलेगी, खाना वगैरह बनाने में या ड्राइवर वगैरह की कोई ऐसी जॉब मिलेगी, आप हमारे साथ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट साइन कर लो। तो हमने वो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट कर लिया। वो उनकी भाषा में था, हमें नहीं पता था उसमें क्या क्या लिखा है। और उसके बाद उन्होंने हमें ट्रेनिंग सेंटर पर डाल दिया। वहाँ हमें जाके पता चला भी हमारे साथ धोखा हुआ है, उन्होंने हमें आर्मी में भर्ती कर लिया है।
Now, there was also a tragic news of the death of one Mohammed Asfan in Russia. And lots of questions, of course, are arising from this. What exactly must have happened? How was this allowed to happen? Is the situation so bad for Russia that they still need men from outside to fight for them, despite forcing their own citizens to fight in this war? And what about the mercenaries in this war? Remember, so far, the Ministry of External Affairs has only said that the government is trying its best for an early discharge of around 20 Indian nationals who are working as support staff to the Russian army. But of course, there are several unanswered questions that remain, and we have to understand what exactly is going on in this war, apart from understanding, of course, the safety of our own nationals. Let's decode this for you on the show tonight. I'm joined by Mr. Anil Trigunayat. He's a former ambassador. I'm also joined by Dr. Rajan Kumar. He's a professor at the Center of Russian Studies, JNU. Good evening and namaskar to both of you, gentlemen. I'd like to start with you, Ambassador Trigunayat. This video, of course, is very, very concerning. Now, of course, we also have the unfortunate news of the death of an Indian national there. The government is calling them helpers. They are saying that they were duped into believing that they're going either on a tourist visa or they'll be provided jobs there, but eventually they were forced to fight from the side of Russia. What do you make of this situation, really?
Well, Shreya, this is not the first time that the unsuspecting Indians have been duped by agents. This keeps on happening all the time. This is unfortunate that these people had to go through this kind of an ordeal. But of course, very often what we have seen is because of either they're looking for greener pastures. I have myself come across a lot of people trying to illegally migrate into Europe via Russia, Finland, and all. So they braved in the past. So there are generally, I don't see that these people are very educated or something like that. So this is definitely the game that the various agents may have played. Agents from India who would have procured them visas, and possibly the agents in Russia, their counterpart, who would have done that. And they only like to extort money. Of course, the government of India has created a lot of mechanisms to control this, but despite that, this keeps on happening many times in different conflict zones. It does not happen. But this is the first time, I think, where we are seeing the Indians are fighting. In the Russian army, as you know, that not only this, but there are a lot of nationals from Central Asia, from Nepal, from several other countries have also gone to fight, both on Russia side and the Ukrainian side. I remember reading about one of the Indians who used to live there. He refused to come back. He said, I'm going to fight for Ukraine's independence here or something like that. So these kind of things keep on happening. I have myself evacuated many times, and those people from conflict zones. And when I say I saw them at the airport and I asked them, "Where are you going?" They said, when they came and accosted me, and they said, "Sir, we're going back there." I said, "Why are you going there?" He said, "Well, marna yahan hai, marna wahan hai, kya farak padta hai, sir, we'll get money in." So this is the kind of thing also happens. But I'm sure that the government has come to know about it and
Should
they
we
will
then
try
also
to
understand from this,
work
Ambassador
out all the.
Trigunayat, the fact that the agents perhaps who duped them knew what they're getting these Indian youngsters into?
Yes, definitely. I mean, they knew what they are doing. There is no doubt about it. And I think that the agents, we have come across many times, we've canceled the agencies whenever these kind of incidents come, even in illegal, for these kinds of illegal activities and recruitments. The action is taken against them by the agencies here, but that's a process. It takes time. And then when this, now there would be, our embassy would be involved in getting more facts about the case. We don't know what they are, whether they
Hmm.
really went on tourism and had that kind of money to go on tourism. In Russia is not a cheap country. So I think that one has to take these things with a pinch of salt. Then what happens? But what has happened at
Hmm.
the end result is something that requires greater investigation and much greater sympathy with these people who have been duped by these agents.
Hmm. Dr. Rajan Kumar, considering the fact that there's a lot of pressure from on Vladimir Putin back home as well, there are women who've been telling him to stop the war because male members of families are being forced into fighting for Russia. In such a situation, is Russia in such a bad condition where it is forcing people to fight on its part?
Thank you for having me here, Shreya. As far as Russia's concerns, Russia is seriously concerned about the number of people at this moment. Let me tell you, it began at almost a year back when Putin came with certain incentives for the people who might be joining Russian army. And as Ambassador Trigunayat rightly pointed out, that it's not only Indians, but the large number of people have been recruited from Central Asian countries in particular, but also from Nepal, Bangladesh, Pakistan, etc. And Russia needs army conscription, as you said that last year, or in fact immediately after the war started, a conscription law was passed in Russia. And after that, two important decisions were taken to recruit more people. One was the offer of citizenship. Second one, the salary was given very, very high, four times the average salary in Russia. So because of that, a lot of people from other nationalities, especially from Central Asia, they joined to fight with Russia against Ukraine. Uh, in the process, what has happened that some of the agents and some of the groups, they started recruiting people who were not actually meant to go and fight the war. And there has been a number of cases, when Nepalese citizen was recruited when actually he was planning to go somewhere else, and also they were not giving proper information. For instance, in our case that we are referring to today, around 20. Some of the reports say that there are about 100 Indian citizens fighting in Russia against Ukraine. There are reports that these people might have been some kind of offered some temptation. They went on this tourist visa, which is just for 3 months. And in the latest video, it says that they were taken to Belarus. It needs to be investigated that who is at the fault, whether these people couldn't understand where they're going,
Hmm.
were they kind of duped by the agent, or were they forced by some Russian authorities? And I'm very positive in the sense that we have very good relationship with Russia even today. And there were some reports last week, I guess, that some of the people who were recruited earlier, they were discharged also by the Russian officers. So I'm very positive that
Yeah.
gradually some negotiation will take place, and these people, at least the young Indians who are there,
Yeah, of
duped
course. The
by.
government also is maintaining that it is in touch with Russian authorities and the government regarding this matter. But Ambassador Trigunayat, what are India's options now? We already have the unfortunate news of one death of an Indian national there. A few of them are stuck there. And the Ministry of External Affairs has said that they're in touch and they have been bringing up this issue again and again with the Russian authorities. But what are the diplomatic options we have in front of us to get them back, really?
Well, sir, one thing I would like to tell you is that as far as providing assistance, bringing back Indians is concerned, I think there's no other parallel in the world to what Indian government does. It goes to any extent to bring people out from the harm's way. And I have no doubt that this time also this will happen. The fact remains is that this matter, since they are on the front lines, the matter would be taken up through the foreign ministry and directly through Kremlin and others to get this. Because now this is also getting a lot of media attention. Now we would not probably know in the public domain that what really transpired in those whole things. But the end result is there, that you have the unwilling people who don't want to fight, and they have been forced into this as helpers and now made to go to front to fight or whatever. But I wonder that if in a short time they can become soldiers themselves, they can become a foreigner, not a soldier. So I don't think if they're going to be of great benefit to any professional army going to fight there in 3-4 months' time, you can't train them. But at the same time, what I think is that Indian government will definitely try to bring them out, and I think sooner than later. Of course, they are working to send back the body of this mortal remains of this gentleman
Yes.
who unfortunately got killed in this. But the others also, I'm sure that they will be released by the army there if they have been recruited. But there are reports that they were also not recruited by the army as it is by the Wagner group. So if that is a private militia group, and of course has a stamp of approval from the government or whatever, but at the same time, those people have very different kind of, um, the working mechanisms, and therefore I feel that the government
Yeah.
will put pressure. And given our relations, as Professor Kumar said, I think that they will come
Okay.
back. But the larger question is that how to prevent its recurrence in future. I have handled it throughout my career,
Yes.
seen these
Yes.
kind of malafide intentions of certain agents going ahead and creating such problems which become diplomatic issues between the two countries.
Yeah, and so what's the solution really? Dr. Rajan Kumar, Ambassador Trigunayat, you can come in also as well. What's the solution then to prevent our youngsters from not getting trapped into, such situations where it leads to, as you said, diplomatic tussles between countries?
I think we have to be careful in processing the visas for the people or when they enter the airport, etc. So especially the people who are not educated, they should be kind of asked very clear questions that why are they going, where are they going, especially in the conflict zones. There are not too many conflict zones, but there are a few cases like Myanmar. Earlier, we have seen such a case in Russia today, and also Israel, Hamas, etc. So we have to, be careful about sensitization, also about checking, especially the agencies which are recruiting people for these countries for jobs, etc. So they have to clearly provide, there should be provided guideline that to who they can recruit and who they cannot. And we need to, we need to be careful about it, because this also brings a very bad name to a country like India. And they are caught in such issues, and younger people are caught in these kind of affairs. Earlier also I heard that and some of the people were duped when in Thailand, and they went to Myanmar, they were caught in a tussle. So that kind of situation keep happening off and on, and we have to be careful. That's what I can tell you.
All right, we'll leave it there. Ambassador Trigunayat and Dr. Kumar, thank you very much to both of you for joining us on Nation Tonight and sharing your perspective on this rather concerning and crucial issue that India is facing. Thank you very much.